Yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Been raining for most of the day here in New York City, but we probably will have baseball tonight. That's right, the stadium is ready, and so are we, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees lost a tough one yesterday. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds. They had their opportunities yesterday in a game that they lost 5-2. They had a 2-0 lead. They let that go, and then they had a just miss.
A disappointing loss for the Yankees, certainly against the Reds. They dropped 2 out of 3 in the series. Yesterday afternoon, the Yankees did have that 2-0 lead, but then in the top of the 7th, Brandon Phillips walks with the bases loaded, and that gave the Reds the lead at 3-2. In the bottom half of the inning, A-Rod thought he had a home run that would give the Yankees the lead. Instead, Mother Nature had different ideas. A brisk win in from left field kept the ball in the ballpark, and the Reds went on to win the ball game by a score of 5-2.
And we move to tonight. Tonight's starting pitchers brought to you by the New York Lottery. Felipe Paulino, who's already beaten the Yankees this year, 1-1 with a 1.93 against Hiroki Kuroda, 3-5 with a 4.50. Last time out, Paul, Hiroki Kuroda did not pitch well.
Well, he actually had one of his worst career performances. He had 7 earned runs, which doesn't happen very often, and a lot of it was caused by bad pitches that ended up in the seats. 3 home runs, but also ties a career high. But the one thing that really worries me, he's only made it, this is his 9th start of the year tonight, he's only made it to the 7th inning or better 3 times this year. He needs to pick it up. He needs to pitch better with his pitching staff.
A lot of his pitches are up. He's got to bring those down. He'll be working on that tonight. One of the guys he has to fear, Billy Butler. Kansas City Royals have a pretty good hitting team. Ken Singleton will come back and tell you about Butler and why he's so good. That's next, right here on Yes. Welcome back to Yankees baseball, everybody. One of the stars of the Kansas City Royals is Billy Butler, and he leads the team in everything: average hits, home runs, RBIs, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. Not too bad. Neither is Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay, and Paul O'Neill will rejoin us in just a moment. Billy Butler is the goods. He can hit.
He certainly can. The former #1 draft pick of the Royals in 2004. He has really come on. You notice he's hitting .297 this year. His career average is .297. He's hit everywhere he's been. Well over 300 in minor leagues. He's a doubles machine. He and Robinson Cano, since 2009, are tied for the major league lead in 2 base hits with 151. This guy's the goods, just like you said, Michael.
Yankees and the Royals, a 3-game set at the stadium. They met in Kansas City. They split 4 games. The Yankees want to get back at it. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Men in Black 3 in theaters Friday, by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer right now for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. Well, it's raining right now at the stadium, so if they start in this weather, they're committed to playing through this sort of weather. Last time the Kansas City Royals come into Yankee Stadium, so they need to get these games in. And we're ready to roll. Danny Cunningham is going to keep in close contact with the umpire. Danny is the head groundskeeper here at the stadium. And he's talking with Wally Bell, the crew chief. So as the Yankees warm up, why don't we take a look at the Royals starting lineup? Boy, it's really coming down hard, and this is the way Ned Yost has put it together. The Royals coming at 16 and 24. They'll lead off Jared Dyson, their center fielder. Eric Hosmer at first base will bat second, batting third, and DHing Billy Butler. Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, will clean up, batting fifth, playing right field Jeff Francoeur. Alex Gordon's in left field. He's going to bat sixth, batting seventh, playing shortstop Alcides Escobar. Chris Getz, the second baseman, will bat eighth, and batting ninth and catching Humberto Quintero.
Working on the mound, getting ready amongst the raindrops is the right-hander Hiroki Kuroda, 37 years old, 0-1 in his career against the Kansas City Royals. And let's look at his numbers. Okay, he comes in with a record of 3-5 and a 4.50 ERA.
I'm going to help you here, Kenny.
You are. There
What's
you
his
go.
ERA?
4.50.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you very much. In Kansas City, he got the royal treatment. He lasted just 4 1/3 with 6 hits and 3 runs. 2 of them were earned, 3 walks and a couple of strikeouts. That was the game that the Royals won by a score of 5-1. He's pitched much better in the Bronx. All 3 of his wins have come here at Yankee Stadium this year.
I'm glad you did that pregame. That would have really thrown me for a loop. When I was waiting for the graphics to come up and they didn't come, I might have just walked out of the booth. That would have been it.
All right, let's do it here in the Bronx. And the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway as Dyson's down 0-1.
You've been up here as long as I have. You learned how to tap dance, ball.
The 0-1. Off speed, 1-1. Royals are 16 and 24, but most of their losing actually happens at home. They're 5 and 17 in KC, and 2 of the 5 wins against the Yankees. A 1-1. 2-1.
Yeah, the Yankees and the Royals split that 4-game series earlier this month. There's Ned Yost, manager of the Kansas City Royals, former catcher for the Atlanta Braves back in the day. Got to play with Bobby Cox.
The 2-1. 2-2.
Gerard Dyson was recalled from the minor leagues. He's hit .333 at AAA. He was recalled on April the 27th. Got a world of speed. Scored 16 runs in his last 20 games. So he's been getting the job done out of the leadoff spot primarily.
This looks like one of those guys that comes to the plate that you just know he can run. You know he's got speed. He's left-handed. As an organization, you hope he can learn to slap the ball the other way and just use that speed.
And Kansas City was working on his bunting before the games and batting practice.
Chop right side. Cano flips to Teixeira. 1 out. Let's check out the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, it's Ibanez, Granderson, and Swisher left to right. Infield, Chavez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. Chavez playing third. A-Rod's the DH tonight. Russell Martin behind the plate, and Hiroki Kuroda is on the mound. Here's Eric Hosmer, a great rookie season, but boy, he has really struggled. He's 10 for his last 80, hitting .172. You watched him last year and said, well, he's one of the great stars, but he has really struggled out of the gate. Still has 19 ribbies, but .172 average.
Paul, sometimes the manager will put you in the second spot in front of one of your better hitters just to try and get you going.
Absolutely. It's a great spot to hit in. A lot of fastballs.
And it's the next guy, Billy Butler. He's been hitting ever since he came to the big leagues.
The 2-0.
There's such a different point of view when you see a young player who's struggling and that has, you know, a bright future ahead of him, and vice versa. If you're an older player going through these struggles early in the year, Danny going through the struggles tonight, looking for that window. He's always looking for that dry window to come through Yankee Stadium. But I mean, you have so much patience with a young kid because there's so much ahead of them. There's so many young kids on this Kansas City team that they're really trying to build around.
Yeah, David Cohn and I talked about it in Kansas City, Michael and Paul, how it's interesting how the Royals have built this team. A lot of the players in their lineup are former #1 draft picks. In fact, Hosmer, Butler, and Moustakas, 2, 3, and 4, all former #1 picks. Now, Tampa Bay Rays, they use their #1 picks on pitchers. A little bit different. Pitchers like David Price.
I was going to say,
yeah,
direct dividends there, immediate.
Well, the Royals are trying to lock up their young players to long-term deals. You can see their first-round picks. Gordon's locked up. Ochevar, Moustakas is locked up. Billy Butler's locked up. But Hosmer is the one fly in the ointment. He is represented by Scott Boras, and Scott does not believe that young players should give away arbitration years and long-term free agent years in the future.
Isn't that up to the player?
It is, but I guess he's the one advising the player.
I mean, a chance for some security.
Especially at a young age. I mean, there's so many things that can happen.
Swing and a miss. Bad swing there by Hosmer.
You see Hosmer, you're just absolutely, that whole at bat just looked like he was uncomfortable. Behind the fastball, out in front of the breaking ball, just no balance whatsoever. A good hitter, just kind of lost at the plate right now.
Here we go. You see, here's the graphic. Scouting report. Royal treatment. Got roughed up in Kansas City. Better in the Bronx. And lefty-righty splits. Left-handed hitters hit 330 against them. Right-handed batters only 212.
I like those guys. Those guys that you knew that lefties hit well. I kind of walked to the plate. I thought somebody, you know, he must have something that the lefties see well.
Isn't it something when you're a real good hitter like Butler, you step in and it stops raining?
I'm just gonna, I don't know if our HD kicked in or what, but it got real clear.
3-1 at home. Double the ERA on the road. Still looking for his first win. One thing the Yankees have had to battle as well is they give up a lot of first inning runs. In fact, 85 runs they've allowed in the first 3 innings, 97 innings in the inning, or 97 runs in the innings after that. Two-one. Kuroda's allowed 10 first inning runs himself this season, and the Yankees 36 first inning runs, most of the majors. So you're starting out looking up. Three and two.
You know, it's funny, Ken, if you look at that and you're a team used to playing from behind, you've given up a lot. And if you're a good team and you have a winning record, it doesn't matter because you just know somehow, some way you'll win. But when you start getting accustomed to getting behind and you're losing, you almost expect it, and you start, you start putting pressure on yourself till you're always digging out of a hole.
High fly ball, shallow left, coming on is Ibanez. He slides, he can't make the play. And Butler with a 2-out single.
I don't know if that fooled Ibanez. Butler had what you would call a 3-2 representative swing, but he hit the ball off the end of the bat. Sometimes in the outfield you get frozen or you step back.
Right.
And he didn't hit it all that well. Maybe fooled Ibanez coming on, and he can't recover and make the play, and the ball drops in.
You know, it's funny, as we watched Ibanez running back to his position, he looked over at Granderson, and he said, I broke back. And that's what happens, Kenny. You know it. A big swing from a guy who can drive the ball, you just get fooled.
Yeah, I've done that.
Moustakas takes outside 1-0. 296.
And the Moose calls out for this guy in Kansas City, don't they, Ken? Nickname Moose to the fans, kind of a fan favorite.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a good player. Made a big defensive play against the Yankees in the ball game. The Yankees had a chance to tie the game, and on a swinging bunt off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. He was playing deep. He barehanded, threw A-Rod out at first to end the game. Jeter would have scored from third to tie the game. He didn't make that play.
One. Hammered foul. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 61 degrees, high humidity because there's rain. 10 miles per hour, and the forecast is for scattered showers.
Get their money back for that weather report right there.
Why? We told you just what was going on.
And if you're Bigelow Tea, don't you feel better when it's sunny and beautiful?
No, you like tea when it's cold and rainy.
Well, they make two types.
That's right.
Iced tea and hot tea.
One, two. 2-2. Tonight's closed captioning brought to you by Lexus. Butler held on at first by Teixeira. Just underway, top of the first inning. 2-2 count, 2 outs. That one's drilled deep to right field. That ball is off the foul pole. See ya. 2-run home run for Moustakas. High off the foul pole. And it is 2-0 KC. And the boos raining down on Hiroki Kuroda.
I told you Moustakas has a chance to become a big-time player here in Kansas City. The target is in, but the ball was not. The ball was in the middle of the plate, kind of leaked back over the middle. He didn't miss it. Just a matter of fair or foul, and this ball is going to hit the right side of the foul pole and continue on to the foul territory, but it's a home run.
Talk about a good break or a bad break, depending on who you're rooting for. The ball goes right off the foul pole, but you cannot miss that much with a pitch. And you know, a lot of people, when you're watching that pitch come, and you just see it. I mean, you cannot. The left-handed hitter has no really idea where he's going to throw that ball. He's not looking in, you know, and all of a sudden it just comes out over the middle of the plate.
It's his 7th home run of the season.
And Kuroda has now allowed the first run of the game in 8 of his 9 starts this year. The 0-2. Grounded to third. Charging is Chavez. That'll do it. But more first inning damage against Kuroda. 2 runs on 2 hits. It's the Royals 2, and the Yankees coming back.
Read his lips. I broke back, and that's just your first step, especially on a wet night. You know, you feel bad as an outfielder, probably could have had that ball, but when you break back, it costs you a couple of steps getting to it.
And not getting to it, Paul, allowed Moustakas to come up and hit that home run. So a costly misplay by Ibanez. So Paulino has a 2-0 lead. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that he will face, and it's presented by Lexus. A little bit of a shakeup. And you'll see where Teixeira is batting. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second, Curtis Granderson. Robinson Cano at second, bats third. Rodriguez, the DH, he's going to bat cleanup. Batting fifth, playing left field. Ibanez, the number 7 hitter, is the right fielder. Nick Swisher. Mark Teixeira's dropped down to 7th. He'll play first base. Batting 8th, playing third base, Eric Chavez. Russell Martin will catch and bat 9th.
Felipe Polino on the mound for the Kansas City Royals. 28-year-old right-hander, 1-1 in his career against the New York Yankees. And he only had 3 starts this year. Spent some time on the disabled list. Record of 1-1. Look at the ERA, pretty good. Opponent's hitting .232. We'll get to the scouting report in just a second.
Jeter swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
Here's the scouting report. He had a forearm strain. That's why he was on the DL earlier this year, but he's come back throwing very hard. 21 strikeouts in 18 2/3 innings. And he featured a 97-mile-per-hour fastball in Kansas City against the Yankees. Low with some good breaking stuff.
I would imagine it. If you're a hitter, you know that he's going to be able to throw that fastball in the mid-90s. But the question is, with a guy like this, with a career record, win-loss, that you probably can't get his curveball over day in and day out. So you really sit on that fastball. The nights that he's going to be successful is when he gets that breaking ball over.
Yankee fans know Dave Allen. He's the pitching coach here with KC. Right back to Paulino. Wow. He threw that 97-mile-an-hour fastball to Hosmer.
My bad. Wow, every once in a while as an infielder, especially at first base, and I've only played it a little bit, but the second baseman or the pitcher, they can kind of handcuff you. You see, he just wound up and threw a sinking lawn dart over there. You're expecting a little flip throw. Whoa. That could have easily been ricocheting off that tarp down there.
Barely held it as it was.
There's that curveball you talk about. If he is able to throw that for a strike, especially early in the count, when you know he throws mid to upper 90s, it's very difficult to sit on that fastball.
One.
Say, you look at Paulino. He's got a 2-0 lead. He's pitching like rain's coming,
Trying to get that 5 in. Kenny, if you think about it, and you never thought about it at the plate as a hitter, but as a fielder, it's a different game on nights like this. The ball is always wet when you pick it up as an outfielder, as an infielder. The third base coach has to know that on trying to score runners. Very difficult to throw a ball that is as wet as it gets on a night like this. Also kind of slows down the runners at base. So it's a little bit different game just because of the weather.
Swing and a miss. Granderson down on strikes.
Like a changeup.
Let's take a look at the Royals defense, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Tri-State Dealer. In the outfield, it's Gordon, Dyson, and Francoeur. Francoeur has a great arm. He has 5 assists so far this year, 102 in his career. Moustakas, Escobar, Getz, and Hosmer third to first. Quintero behind the plate, Paulino on the mound. And Cano takes outside. Robinson, 7 for his last 18. So ball 4, Cano walks. Let's check out the Delta League leaders. And in this game, the most doubles in the major since 2009, Cano and Butler, each with 151.
Think about Cano. He really started his hot streak in Kansas City when he hit that grand slam off of Luke Hochevar. That kind of got him off the schneid and got him going.
Those are great attitude adjustments, aren't they? When you hit a grand slam, all of a sudden you feel pretty good about yourself.
Here's Alex. He's not feeling too good of late.
You know, at the time, Cano doubled his RBI total with that grand slam.
Alex had 4 at-bats yesterday. He saw 6 pitches, and he was 0 for 4. 44 at-bats without a home run. Has not had a big hit in a while. 0 for 16 with runners on base, which ties the longest streak of his career.
And this is the things you're saying, Michael, to me is why it is more difficult to play this game now than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, is because now you have to talk about all these things, all these numbers that we get caught up. Alex Rodriguez knows he's not swinging the bat well, but now he has to, he has to talk about it every single day to radio, television, to the news, and it starts to get in your head.
He hit a ball yesterday that everyone in the ballpark thought was out, including Alex, who made the turn to the Yankee dugout when he thinks he's hit a home run, and the wind knocked it down. He could not believe that did not go.
Well, during the course of the whole game, you could see anything that was hit in the air, the left field wasn't going.
Runner goes. That one is looped into right field, and then he has himself a base hit with a runner on base. So he snaps that 0 for 16 as Cano moves to third.
And even balls that were hitting the right field were drifting towards the line. It looks like Paulino has that movement on the fastball, gets in on the hands of Alex, but strong enough. Watch Cano on the move. That's going to put Getz moving towards second base, takes him out of the picture. Only the right fielder, Frank Clore, had a chance at it, and it was too shallow for him.
Well, Paulino just mowing through the first inning. All of a sudden, ball 4 to Cano, and then a cheap hit, and the next thing you know, now you're in a situation where the Yankees can get right back in this game. So I think sometimes pitchers relax when they get 2 outs. Nobody on. They just think it's going to be an easy inning, and before you know it, Raul Ibanez, one of the hotter Yankees, up at the plate with 2 men on.
Ibanez takes a strike.
Kenny was talking about a change up there. He's throwing his breaking ball. He's trying to establish all 3 pitches. And sometimes in the first couple innings, I don't think as a starting pitcher you need to do that, especially when you throw mid-90s. But he's had a good curveball. He got 1 strikeout with a changeup.
I think what you're talking about is you're showing all your ammunition.
Exactly.
You want to have something the second and third time through that maybe a hitter hasn't seen as of yet. When you get in a dicey situation, couple minutes in, then you break out that changeup with 2 strikes that he hadn't seen the whole game.
Nothing worse than striking out on a pitch you haven't seen late in the game, mid-innings with men in scoring position. And it's a great way, a great tool for a pitcher to hold back to the middle of the game.
I think what is happening here is that Ibanez been hot lately, so they're being careful with him and just emptying the tank, so if you will, by showing him just about everything and trying to stay away from a fastball. But now he's definitely in a fastball count.
Ibanez has been red hot of late, but that one has popped up. Hosmer, wind taking it, makes the play as the Yankees again leave a runner in scoring position. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We'll go to the second. Alex Gordon will lead off against Kuroda. Now that you could watch live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $49.99. If you're a Time Warner Cable customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. 2-0 Kansas City as we go to the second. Here's Alex Gordon. Alex in a little bit of a slump. 3 hits in his last 22 at-bats.
Well, we saw him earlier this month in Kansas City. He was swinging the bat pretty well. He had 6 hits in the series against the Yankees in Kansas City.
At the end of spring training, the Royals signed him to a 4-year contract extension with a 5th-year option. And they were very close at one point to just giving up on him. He was supposed to be the next George Brett, third baseman. It never panned out. They moved him to the outfield, and he started to hit last year. Look what he did in 09 and 10 in 123 games. And look what he did last year. He just found it. So it's a cautionary tale about giving up on somebody a little too soon.
And plus the fact, Michael, he became a Gold Glove left fielder.
Yep.
You spoke of George Brett, and I was walking through the tunnel, kind of taking the shortcut to the park den. I heard the cage and looked over at George Brett sitting there watching some of the hitting.
Well, I thought you were going to say he was hitting.
He looks like he could.
Yeah,
There's just some people that grab a bat and you just think he could hit. And he was so fun to watch. I used to hope that we got big leads on Kansas City when I was in right field, because I just loved to watch him hit. And I didn't even mind if he hit one hard. It was just a great swing.
Great fastball hitter. Could turn anybody's fastball around. Anybody.
Some classic matchups with a Hall of Famer, Goose Gossage. He used to turn some of Goose's fastballs around in playoff games as well. He was some hitter. The 2-2. And that is tipped into the glove of Martin, strike 3. So 1 away. That'll bring up Escobar. Pitch outside. 1-0.
This guy's becoming one of the better young shortstops in this league.
Defensively, some guys you can just see that just get the game, and he's one of them. And he's one of the youthful people that this organization is building around.
He's only made 3 errors. He's hitting .296.
Since June of last year, only 2 shortstops have a better batting average than Escobar. Derek Jeter at .332, Elvis Andrus at .295, and Escobar at .289.
Wow.
That one's hitting the hole, backhanded by Jeter, who's just going to eat it. Escobar has too much speed, so a base hit for Escobar.
That's how you hit 300. Get some infield hits.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We were talking about George Brett, and you saw Derek Jeter field that ball in the hole, and those two are going to go head to head here soon. Derek needs 7 hits to catch George Brett. Needs to pass Paul Wainer, and then on to George Brett. But 7 hits. Not very many could happen in this series.
Pitch outside to Getz. So Derek has 5 hits to tie Big Poison, Paul Wainer, and then 7 to tie George Brett.
There's some real names on that list.
We talked about guys, the way they hit 300, they get infield hits, and Derek over his career has got a lot of infield hits. He uses his speed. George Brett hit hard line drives. He didn't get infield hits, although he did play on that hard turf in Kansas City.
Grounded to Teixeira. He'll step on the bag as Escobar goes to second. Well, you see a list like that, and in 7 hits, Derek's going to have the same amount of hits as Brett. That's 14th on the all-time list. That means of all the thousands of people that have ever played Major League Baseball, only 13 have more hits than Derek Jeter. That's pretty heady stuff.
No doubt. I tell you what, you know when you got a young team, I was just watching Derek Jeter talking at second base. He still got braces on. You know, I mean, when you're playing guys that still have braces on, it's like you're back in high school again, you know?
Quintero takes outside.
He looks like he's playing in high school, right?
And infield hit to make you smile.
Uh-huh.
One and one.
Crowder got that one by him. But again, that ball up in the zone, if he pitches there consistently, Kenny, he's going to get hurt.
Certain hitters, yeah. Quintero's batting ninth. And when we were in Kansas City, both he and Pena, the other catcher, were struggling. But we saw it in Toronto.
Two and two.
Split finger down in the dirt. Kenny was just asking you and another star player. They have a youthful kid.
Yeah.
Perez there's been on the disabled list probably for another month or so.
Yeah, maybe around the All-Star break he'll be back. Knee surgery. Was injured in spring training.
Ground ball to Jeter. Gets the nice hop, and that'll do it. Here in the second. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. In the second, Swisher, Teixeira, and Chavez coming up.
Our lineup, and if the other guys were hitting, he probably wouldn't be a focus. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that are struggling in those situations, some worse than he is. So I just thought, you know what, he hasn't played in 3 days. I'm going to move him down a little bit and see what happens.
That's about Mark Teixeira, who was dropped to the 7th spot in the lineup for today's game. And he had not started his previous 3 games, dealing with the bronchial issue that he's had for about a month and a half. So we'll see if what amounts to a mini shakeup pays off. But Swisher first. Nick, 3 hits in his last 23 at-bats.
Kenny, I don't know if you ever went through it where, you know, the manager would drop you down and it's You don't blame the manager, you don't blame it, but it's almost an embarrassment to you because you're not accustomed to hitting in that position, and you wanted to try to get back to where you're comfortable.
It's funny you asked me because I was about to ask you.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
lowest did you ever hit in the lineup?
I hit 7th in the World Series, I think, against Al Leiter one night, and it just all of a sudden it does it. It kind of wakes you up, and I don't know if Joe Torre did it on purpose at times, but you know, some players take it as a challenge, and some players kind of give up on themselves. And I think those are the type of things that a manager has to know. You know, what guy's going to take this as a challenge, and what guy is just going to put his head in the sand.
Yeah, Earl Weaver dropped me down to 8th once, but I deserved it. And
was that 8th with the DH in the league too?
8th with the DH. And the thing about it, I wasn't mad at him for doing it because I put myself in that position. It was June. I was hitting 180.
Really?
Yeah.
You stunk, didn't you?
Yeah, I was thinking then, but it gave me a wake-up call, and I got going. Before you know it, I was back up around 3rd, 4th.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, that you took that as a challenge. You probably got hot, and the next thing you know, you look back, and you look back at that time, and it probably turned it around for you.
Well, certainly you don't want to. You know, it took forever to find my name on the lineup card.
Swing and a miss. Swisher down on strikes. Well, there's the old story about Bernie Williams when Buck Showalter was the manager. Buck dropped him to 9th in the lineup, and he had Brian Butterfield talk with him. And Brian said, "Now, Bernie, you realize after 9th,
yeah, there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go." And Bernie kind of picked it up. Swisher has not, or should I say, Teixeira has not batted in the 7th spot in the lineup since he was a rookie in 2003. Count 1-0.
You know, I looked at it as a personal challenge. What are you doing down here? It's your own fault. I liked hitting in the first inning.
1 year ago, he had 11 home runs and a 253 average. Now, Mark has historically been a slow starter, but usually by this time he's picked it up. And out of the gate this year, he actually was pretty good. He played against type, but then this bronchial infection, which he's still trying to shake the cough, took over. And he strikes out on the 2-2.
Paulino is a strikeout pitcher. He's got several ways to go. He's got a good fastball. He's already showed off his changeup, his breaking ball. He's been getting it over. So that means you can't really sit on one pitch if you're a hitter.
Chavez grounds it to first. Hosmer beats him to the bag. And a 1-2-3 inning as the Yankees go down in order. Top of the Royals order will come up against Hiroki Kuroda. KC leads 2-0. Toyota text ball. Tonight's question is, which pitcher had the coolest moment over the last 3 days? Text your vote to 42951. Here are your choices. Wood's career-ending K, Strasburg hits a home run, Scherzer's 15 swinging Ks, or Verlander's near no-no, 2 outs away from a third of his career. Standard text messaging rate supply. Start your voting now. We'll tell you later how you voted.
Those are some tough choices today.
Yeah, I watched number 4. I was watching TV and I saw it on the bottom and I turned it. He threw him 5 consecutive breaking balls and he finally hung one. Base hit up the middle. You don't get those opportunities for those no hitters very often.
Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 KC.
So you think that was the coolest? Kerry Woods was really nice.
That was the coolest to me.
Strike out until the last guy you face in the big leagues and your son's waiting for you as you walk off the field.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, I didn't see a lot of that story. I mean, did he say before the game this is it?
Yes.
Yeah, he said this was his last game.
In fact, I think he said so.
Short time with the Yankees. He pitched very, very well out of the bullpen for the Yanks. And Dyson is going to walk. And now, obviously, a threat to go. Here's Hosmer.
Now, Dyson had 38 steals in 40 attempts last year in AAA. That doesn't always translate to the big league level because pitchers do a better job of holding runners. The catchers throw much better. And you might have a little bit of a wet track out there tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks down at Belmont they'd call that a slow track, wouldn't it?
Count 1-1.
We're talking about Hosmer and how he did last year. May 11th of last year here at the stadium, hit his first major league home run off A.J. Burnett.
On his first at bat, you could see that his balance, his feet, just everything is kind of moving in different directions. And again, good hitters can get in funks, and it just looks like he has no balance. It looks like nothing is comfortable to him right now.
One of 6 visiting players at his first major league home run at the current Yankee Stadium. Dyson has 4 stolen bases, but he's been caught 3 times. Not a good percentage. As Kuroda keeps him close.
Used to bug you, Kenny, when you were hitting and they kept throwing over to first base?
To a certain extent, but I wanted him to get the second. Get down to second.
1-1.
Look back here and you see everything is closed there. His front hip, everything, he just allowed the ball to get to him. And if you'll watch the last pitch, front shoulders coming out, hips coming out, so his mechanics have just changed a little bit, and it just makes everything happen just a little bit quicker.
They had a lot of relatives on him.
That always helps too. Yeah. Makes the day more special.
There's so much talk in Kansas City, and there's a huge story in the present Sports Illustrated about how all the young players are going to be here for a long haul. And there's so much talk about, can they sign Hosmer? Now, he can't be a free agent for another 5 years. You wonder if that's weighing on it.
When you're this young, Kenny, I mean, you just want to come out to a major league ballpark and play every day and and see how good you can be. And you're getting treated to the major league life as it is. I don't think that, something that far down the road should be on his mind.
Runner goes. No throw. Dyson's in there with the stolen base.
I don't know if Martin got the grip on the ball. I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't follow through. Looked like he had a chance to throw him out. But if you come up and you don't have the grip, and Paul was talking about how it might be a little wet. Yeah, I don't think he had the full grip on it.
It's like he had the curveball grip instead of the fastball. You see there, he whipped the seams. You know, that ball was in the dirt. Very tough play for a catcher to come out and get a good grip, make a good throw.
Martin will talk things over with Kuroda.
Staying on top of it, though, right?
Yeah, it's like his fingers are off to the side, like he's going to throw a slider. And you see him look at the ball there. Like,
ideally, as a player, outfield, infield, catcher, anything, you want to be across those seams. You know, you get a nice straight four-seam fastball, but every once, I mean, you don't have time as a position player to move the ball as much as you'd like to sometimes.
Driven out to left field. Ibanez back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Dyson scores easily. And Hosmer with an RBI double. It's 3-0 KC.
These are the hits that, you know, as an organization, even when a guy's struggling, this is the type of things you can do. You know, not such a big guy, but stays back, drives the ball over the left fielder's head. Shows you that, you know, he has the ability with bat speed to drive the ball, even in Yankee Stadium, off the wall the other way.
his 5th double of the year, and for a guy who's been struggling, he's got to feel a little better.
He was 1 for 15 coming into that at bat. Here's Butler. High fly ball and out of play.
You saw on that kind of pan in the dugout there, Kevin Seitzer, who is their hitting coach, is a good hitter in his own rights in Kansas City, but a good place to be a hitting coach in my mind, because you've got a ton of young guys that will still listen to you as a hitter, as a hitting coach. And you see Kevin Seitzer there, one of those guys that just had a little bit too much energy out there, had more energy than anybody else, but played the game hard and was just a good all-around hitter.
Line drive type.
The 0-1. Foul back.
But you know what I mean, Kenny? I mean, you come to a veteran team, every once in a while a guy's going to come to you and want some ideas, but you know, you're in a position like this where these kids are just making it their own name in the major leagues. They're still listening to guys that have played in the major leagues.
Yeah, veterans kind of know what make themselves tick. You know, they're kind of, I wouldn't say stuck in their ways. They're willing to take some advice, but you know, you kind of know why you hit and why you don't.
Wow. Oh, what a play.
On a wet track, too.
Smile now.
There you go.
Better plays I've seen from the ball boys all year. Little skip off the grass.
Slow roller to Teixeira, and he will beat Butler to the bag, and moving to third is Hosmer. All right, that's going to bring up Moustakas, and we will check out the Home Depot hitter scouting report on Mike.
Yeah, young up-and-coming hitter. He's reached safely now with the home run. Make it in 28 of his last 29 games, or has that been updated? Yeah, it's been updated already. Okay, 27 of his last 28 games he's reached safely. First-round draft pick in 2007. But how about his year in the minor leagues in 2010? 124 runs batted in 118 games. And I played with his uncle in the minor leagues. His uncle Tom Robson led the California League in home runs the year I played with him.
Yankees have the infield in at 3-0 and a struggling offense, trying to cut this run off.
His uncle was a strong right-handed hitter.
Talked about Kansas City. I mean, they're much better on the road. Most teams play better at home. Just got a stat here. They're 9-0 on the road when they score first. So bode well for the Yankees tonight so far.
So the last two intentional as Moustakas walks, and that'll bring up Jeff Francoeur. Allow the Yankees to back up and play for the double play. And the disparity is startling. 5-17 at home. And even at 16-24, if you look at how poorly everyone in the Central is playing, they have not played their way out of it. Tigers have been a huge disappointment so far this year.
63 pitches in the third inning.
Fouled away by Francoeur.
Kenny, we were talking and early in our pregame. I mean, we were kind of going over some of his starts, and you know, this is his 9th start. Only 3 of them he's made it to the 7th inning. And you know, you talked about his 64 pitches here in the bottom at the top of the 3rd. So he's wasting a lot of pitches because he's having deep counts and he's given up a lot of. You know, there's a lot of runners that he's trying to pitch out of inning after inning.
That one is looped into center field and caught by Cano. And he fires the ball into Kuroda, holding Hosmer at 3rd. Nice play by Cano.
You know, Hosmer did a good job there. He tagged up on that ball because if it falls, he's going to score anyway. And he also took a false break. And if Robbie just keeps running towards center field, you know, Hosmer was giving himself an opportunity to score. Robbie, good frame of mind, gets the ball back in quick. Good play.
Now, isn't it up to the shortstop or Derek Jeter in this case to tell him, look, he's tagged up? Yeah,
absolutely. Get it in, get it in.
Here's Alex Gordon. 1-0. Yankees have action in their bullpen. They're not going to go that much longer with Kuroda.
Kenny, it looks like Kuroda uses a lot of pitches early in the count, trying to make guys swing at pitches out of the zone, which gets himself in a bad count. You know, a lot of pitchers will get that strike one and then use those pitches later in the count. He's almost pitching backwards to get himself in trouble. Again, you know, you're 2-0 instead of, you know, 1-1 where a hitter's in a mood where he'll chase a pitch out of the zone.
Almost like in a nibbling mode, right from the start.
A strike to Gordon, 2-1. And the count 3-1.
With a 2-1 changeup.
2-0 breaking ball. So he's not real comfortable with his fastball, obviously, in the fastball count.
Missed outside with the fastball. That's going to load the bases. Larry Rothschild out to the mound. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
See, Larry, almost you know, a pep talk. Keep your head up. You know, show on the mound that you're confident. You've got 2 outs here. A lot of times pitchers look around, see the bases full, and think about how much trouble they're in. I mean, if you think about it, you're 1 pitch from getting out of this thing without giving up another run.
Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, broke that up. Hosmer is at 3rd. Moustakas at second and Alex Gordon at first.
I'm surprised that Winters let them go as long as he did, because he knows what the weather conditions are here, and they want to get to the point where it's an official game.
Count 0-1. Escobar reached on an infield single in the hole. It's short. First time up.
Okay, these are the things you see in a young team that you won't see in a veteran team. Here's a guy that's pitching himself into a jam, ball four, and you go up and swing at first pitch, anything out of his hand. But I mean, as a manager, you look at Ned Yost, you have to let young players play where they're comfortable. A lot of kids aren't comfortable taking a lot of pitches.
Grounded to Chavez. He steps on third, beats Moustakas there, and Kuroda works out of further trouble, but the Royals do score a run. Martin will lead off in the bottom of the third. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by the professionals at your Tri-State GMC dealer. Why just go when you can go pro? By Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, and by Acura. Acura, advance. Kind of a gloomy night here in New York City. A steady mist falling at Yankee Stadium. You can see when you look up at the lights here, but they are playing through as Russell Martin leads off against Paulino. Count 1-0. Martin has really struggled, especially here at Yankee Stadium. 5 hits and 55 at bats, 168 overall. And there's hit number 6 in the Bronx.
Well, that's one thing they always tell you when you're struggling. Hit it back where it comes from. Right back through the middle. You got that opening right there near second base. Hit it with a little authority, and you have yourself a base hit just about each and every time. Royals do not shift. The second baseman gets so near the bag. Split the difference. Base hit.
Lincoln scoreboard 3-0 Royals. And a base hit for Jeter.
He's a quick lander, huh? Jeter decided to go up the middle too.
Good work for Martin. Now the Yankees have the tying run at the plate. Download on this one through the middle. That was hit a little better.
Yeah, that ball was hit right on the barrel. You see, I mean, Derek, when he stays up the middle, right center, I mean, that's when he's going to really, really get hot and give you good at bats.
Gain it on Big Poison.
That Paul Wainer, right? Paul Wainer's nickname, Big Poison.
Well, his brother was Lloyd Wainer. He was Little Poison.
Oh my! Pretty good players, though, right?
I think they're both in Hall of Fame. Certainly Big Poison is.
Pitch outside to Granderson. healthy cut there, 1-1.
And I hung that ball too. That's a pitch that you're lucky as a pitcher to get back, especially with Granderson at the plate. See, this isn't a fastball. This is kind of just a hanging slurve.
That's not a good number right there. 6 for their last 60. And in the month of May, they have the lowest average with runners in scoring position of any team in baseball.
You know, the way that's kind of hard to do. You figure you get a broken bat single or something. But they say that good hitting is contagious, and maybe even poor hitting can be contagious. A lot of pressure to get these runners in, and now that it's been a while, with each and every at bat, pressure kind of builds. Yeah, both the Wainers are in the Hall of Fame.
First inning, Al Paulino was getting the ball and just, it was like rapid fire. All of a sudden, everything is slowed down. A couple runners on, kind of pitching in long counts now.
And a base on balls loads the bases. Bases loaded, nobody out. And the heart of the order coming up. Robinson Cano. Already has a grand slam this year. And he had it against the Royals.
Sunday, May 6th, a changeup that ends up in the waterfall.
We've been to that park in a while. They've put bleachers and seats in front of the waterfall.
They've done a great job with it. Great job. Refurbished the ballpark. All-Star game's going to be there this year.
Pitch inside.
First time since 1973.
Yankees down 3-0, but ready to make some noise here in the bottom of the third. The 1-0. There's a strike. The count 1-1. Fastball strike, 1-2.
There's a tough pitch. Yeah, that's 95, and that ball started in off the plate and kind of ran back over the inside corner. But a lot of times on left, you kind of give up on it. You see the tail back. These at-bats, with Robbie Cano up, you expect those bad numbers to change. You know, he's been swinging the bat fairly well.
One-two. Fouled away. Dialed that one up to 97.
Yeah, he was featuring that in Kansas City. A little bit extra. Just enough movement to keep that off the barrel of the bat.
You know, when you start throwing 97, 90, I don't think a ball can go straight. I mean, it's coming so hard that it's got to do something. It's got to move. And as a hitter, you can tell the difference, a big difference. The guys in the low 90s and the high 90s.
Strike three. Cano down looking, and he cannot believe it. Let's look at the pitch by pitch brought to us by Mazda.
The pitch by pitch. He got in a good position. Bases loaded. Right there, he took a slider. That's a pitch right there that kind of set up the hole at bat. It showed the inside corner, and right here, kind of a borderline backdoor slider.
Get outside.
That's that pitch. You're upset as a hitter and you're happy as a pitcher.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. Big spot for him. Breaking ball is inside. He blooped a single right in the first inning.
You see the hesitation from the catcher. I mean, that's basically the same pitch right there.
Count 1-1. Alex one behind Lou Gehrig for the most grand slams all time. He's a .350 hitter with the bases loaded. Chris Getz with a conference on the mound. And now Quintero joins that.
A lot of times the middle infielders feel like, the runner on second base might be picking up a sign or this, and then I think there's more worry about that than there is actual stealing of pitches. But sometimes they'll come in and change the signs or find out exactly what the signs are going by.
Now this is a very big at bat for this team, because even the Yankees, and Joe Girardi talked about it yesterday, the longer this stretch goes without big hits and runners in scoring position, the tougher it gets on the hitters to make that big hit happen. You grip the bat a little bit tighter. This is a big moment. You have the bases loaded, nobody out, Cano up, he strikes out. Now your cleanup hitter's up. You've got to make it happen here, or the pressure becomes even more. Count 2-2.
Oh, it's a good block right there. And I tell you what, when you have the ability to throw that ball as hard as he does with that breaking ball down in the dirt, and know that your catcher with bases loaded is going to break it or block it. Good job right here.
The 2-2. He struck him out. And you can hear the groans of the crowd. The Yankees have one more chance to cash in.
See if this pitch is borderline. In fact, it sank out of the strike zone. And watch Alex try and go downstairs and get it. That might have been ball 3. But the thing about it, reason why he swung at it, because it was over the plate. And you can get hitters to chase up and down as long as the ball's over the plate. Off the plate, they won't do it as much.
He started that count off with a breaking ball. So in the hitter's mind, Alex is thinking, this is the way he's going to go about things. He ended up getting a couple fastballs over, and then he struck him out with that sinker that was at 96. So pretty good piece of pitching by Paulino. But also, if you're struggling, in my mind, Kenny, at driving runs in with scoring, you want to do things early in the count. The last thing you want to do is get late in the count with 2 strikes, because that's when the wheels start turning. Here we go again. And I think it's very important to get things done early in the count when you've been struggling driving in runs.
Here's Ibanez. And a strike. Count 0-1. .96 inside, 1-1.
I'll tell you what, this inning, Paulino has more movement on his fastball, and he's throwing that ball at the left-hander's hip. Got Got a strikeout out of the zone with Alex.
1-1. High fly ball, deep left. Gordon back on the track, and he makes the play at the wall. And Paulino held up his arms in exultation. So Ibanez flirted with a bases clearing double, but Gordon went back. He won a Gold Glove out there last year, and he hauled it in, and the frustration continues. And the question, what player who appeared in 295 career games with the Yankees holds the Royals record for most home runs in a single season? I think I know that one.
I think I know it too.
I think it was a teammate of Paul's.
Really? That makes it bad when I don't know it and I play with it. Huh? Oh, I do. I know that.
There's a strike. So Ibanez gave it a ride, and it looked for all the world to be a bases clearing double, but Gordon covered a lot of ground to haul it in. So the Yankees have the bases loaded and nobody out, and they can't get it done with the heart of the order coming up. Cano strikes out. Rodriguez strikes out. Then Ibanez certainly did what he had to do, but the ball was run down. That one is slapped into left center field. It is a base hit. Cutting over is Granderson. Getz is going for two. And he is out. I think he overslid the bag. And the second base umpire, Mike Muchlinski.
Granderson did a great job here because this ball skipped. But Getz going around first, there was a little hesitation. He didn't know whether to go or not. And that step cost him. That ball skipped a little bit. Granderson got it in. But if we'll watch Getz straight from the box, he had a big hesitation going around first base. A little trick slide might have been in there.
I think he looks safe as well. And Yost thinks he's safe too. Did not tag him. And after he did come off the bag, Robbie did not hold the ball or the glove on the body.
Put a little swim move on him.
They work once in a while.
Yeah, they did. But sometimes when a ball beats you, here's what Paul's talking about. There's that hesitation.
See, Muchlinski said because you overslid the bag, but Cano never kept the glove on him after he overslid the bag. Here's Quintero, and there's a strike.
The big out right there. Leadoff double. It's almost setting you up to steal another run right there. So good play by Granderson.
scooped up. Cano will make the play for the second out. How tough is it, guys, what Granderson cutting over on wet grass stopping? Because it looked like he tippy-toed until he could plant his feet, but you can't stop, I would think, on a dime out there.
No, not tonight. But the conditions nowadays are a lot better than they used to be. I mean, you've been slipping and sliding forever on artificial surface, or you can see what Michael's talking about. Watch the little choppy steps at the very end here just to set his feet. But he did make a strong throw.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger adjustments you make is, you're so accustomed to taking certain angles, and you see him just kind of reach, and you realize later in your angle at the ball that the ball skips off the grass, and it puts you in a position where you're kind of going away from the play, and you don't get around it where you can make a strong throw.
Does it skip more on wet grass?
Oh yeah. Wet turf is the worst. The old wet turf is, you might as well just run to the wall.
Yeah, that ball would have been at the wall.
1-2 on Dyson. Two and two.
I'm looking here at 7 for 37 the Yankees are with bases loaded, which is a 189 batting average. Those are the innings you can really put a game away, and they haven't done it.
And Dyson gets put away, looking at a called third strike. An 11-pitch 1-2-3 inning for Kuroda. Swisher will lead off. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning, and Nick Swisher will lead off against Felipe Paulino. Swing and a miss. Nick struck out in the second inning. It'll be Swisher, Teixeira, and Chavez. Count 1-1. Fly ball, shallow center. Dyson coming on and makes the play.
That ball stayed up in a long time, which gave us an opportunity to watch just how quick Dyson is.
Yeah, they usually don't give the #1 to guys who can't run. You get the #1 because you're really fast. We're going to watch this one in Yes Mo, and it wasn't even really a shoestring catch.
A lot of times, Kenny, you're better off kind of sliding into that ball to keep that ball, at shoulder level than trying to shoestring that ball, and if it goes by you. So a lot of times, he didn't need to dive. Well, diving or sliding into that play can make it a lot easier.
Grounded to Hosmer, and he flips to Paulino. 2 away. Let's check out the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. What player who appeared in 295 career games with the Yankees holds the Royals record for most home runs in a single season?
One of my favorite teammates, really. Funny guy.
Steve Balboni, yes.
No, I got it wrong. I didn't even know. Is he funny?
Now he is.
I got it wrong, too.
I thought it was Danny Tartable.
You didn't know it was Balboni? Steve bye-bye Balboni.
I thought Tartable had that huge year with the Royals right before he came to the Yankees.
Yeah.
But he did hit 36 home runs.
That was my guess. Boy, I was wrong.
Thanks, Michael. You set me up.
No, I set myself up. I was dead wrong. Steve Balboni, the nickname Bye Bye Balboni. Very nice guy. Danny Tartable had 34 home runs in 1987. So that was well before he joined the Yankees, I believe. Chavez drives one into right center field. It is a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. And Chavez with a 2-out double.
Slider hanging out over the plate. Eric Chavez hits it hard, and again, you talk about that ball skipping. That ball hit the wall hard. He skips right into it. Boing. But again, this goes back to what the Yankees have not been able to do, and that's drive man in. And here's Russell Martin with an opportunity with 2 outs.
And there's a strike to Martin.
Russell Martin kind of taking a double take at that. That ball's kind of high in the zone. Breaking ball kind of hanging. His pattern tonight is if he's starting guys off with breaking ball, he usually ends up trying to put them away with that hard sinker.
That one gets away from Quintero, allowing Chavez to move to third.
And I think this would be classified as a wild pitch. Yep. Plus, he didn't get his glove over quick enough. No, it looked like he was crossed up.
Crossed up. Yeah, he didn't expect that to be a breaking ball. It looks like Paulino kind of overthrew it. Change up here. Up in the zone, and he hasn't thrown a lot of really good change ups, but his breaking ball's been good, and his fastball at times has been overpowering. Again, off speed stuff. Look for something hard here.
Grounded to second. Getz gobbles it up, and that will do it. So the Yankees don't get in another runner from scoring position. We go to the 5th. Hosmer, Butler, and Moustakas coming up. Injuries as well, more injuries, Bob. News and notes from around the major leagues. Cody Ross, an MRI reveals a broken bone in his left foot. So that's not good news. And Neftali Feliz, who had moved into the starting rotation this year for the Rangers, placed on the 15-day DL with right elbow inflammation. Now, Bob just gave us the score on the Oriole game. Right now, the Orioles have the best record in the American League. And, Paul, he was your first manager here with the Yankees. Everywhere Showalter goes, the second year he's there, or the second spring training he has, the team takes a decided jump up. What does he do?
Well, I think it takes time for a team to kind of buy into, you know, he's a perfectionist at what he does in his preparation, and I think it does take time for a team to buy into it. And if they do, you know, he gives them an opportunity to win. And so far, I mean, you've spent a quarter of this season. You know, there is a time that sooner or later you're going to say, you know, this is a great year for the Orioles. It is a bounce-back year. I don't think you're to that point yet, but still, it's not a time where you just walk into Baltimore and expect to win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 every time either.
Follow the Yankees at the MLB.com app, that 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Paul, I think that's a great point. Kenny, you could speak to this as well. All the contenders in the American League East used to put 14 wins on the board in their mind against the Orioles. You can't do that anymore because even if they're not legitimate contenders, Kenny, they're going to fight you every single game.
Yeah, you were thinking at least you're going to win 2 out of every 3 during the course of the season series. But at this point, they're holding their own. And as Paul said, a quarter of the way through the season, you talk about a bounce back. That's like bouncing back from, you know, furthest planet in the universe back to Earth. 14 years in a row they've had a losing record.
Billy Butler grounds one in the hole. Jeter fields, fires the first. Not in time. It pulled Teixeira off the bag, and he tried to make the swipe tag. Couldn't get Butler, so an infield single.
You've seen this a few times. Derek Jeter going to his right. That had a little more arc than it usually does. Ball's probably wet. Mark Teixeira tries to get a tag in. Just missed. Good call.
Just a little offline with the throw. Yep, didn't get him. Butler now with he had a 7-game hitting streak back in the first inning. Base hit.
I remember those days where you'd hit that ball in the hole and you just couldn't run fast. You would fight and fight and fight to run faster. It just doesn't work.
It's almost like you would throw your helmet away, take your shoes off, your shirt, just lighten the load on the way down the line.
That's why I was throwing my helmet all the time, Michael. I was trying to run a little bit better.
Ground ball to Cano, and he boots it, stays with it, and he'll get the out at first to get Moustakas as Butler advances to second.
Looked like Robbie was trying to set up that spin move to throw to second to get the lead runner, but just knocked the ball down. But watch the glove hand. How good is this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wet ball, picks it up with the glove. Didn't even use his hand until he threw it to first. Here it is on Yesmo. Ball kind of roused around. Looked like it hit his leg as it knocked the ball out of the glove. His leg hit the glove, knocked the ball out, but then he recovers to get the out at first base.
You see, he doesn't panic. A lot of guys would go over and try to grab that barehanded and, you know, miss it, and next thing you know, you don't get an out at all. Robbie would be one of those pitchers that would drive you crazy because he can throw good from any angle. He can go from submarine to up top, and he's got such good arm strength. And he's very accurate from all of them.
.91 pitches right now for Kuroda. We're only in the 5th inning. Rapata is up again for the Yanks. Oh, Epley was up earlier. Now Rapata's up. The 1-0. 2-0. Francoeur is 0 for 2. 3-0. Royals leading the Yankees, top of the 5th inning on a rainy Monday in New York City.
Talked about all the #1 draft picks of the Royals in their lineup. Francoeur was the #1 pick of the Atlanta Braves back in the day.
He's like the veteran of this team, and he hasn't been in the big leagues that long.
He's only 28 years old. Probably got the most experience.
2-1. Hammered foul.
And as I looked up and down the lineup, easily he has the most experience.
Made his major league debut for the Braves July 7th of 05. And signed with the Royals December 8, 2010 as a free agent. You talk to people that have played on teams with him. Great teammate, they say. Very likable guy. And a good leader for the young Royals.
The Royals have the youngest team in the major leagues.
And the 2-2. Strike 3. Francoeur down looking. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We're halfway through. Coming up in the bottom of the 5th, the top of the Yankee order, starting with the captain.
Thursday, June 14th for the 2nd annual Bombers Boomer Broadway Softball Classic and help support the Boomer Esiason Foundation and the Actors Guild. Game 1 of the doubleheader features the stars of Broadway squaring off at 10 a.m. followed by the Yankees alumni players and celebrities versus the WFAN All-Stars in Game 2. A limited number of tickets are still available and can be purchased by calling the Boomer Esiason Foundation at 646-292-7930 or via the web at www.esiason.org.
Derek Jeter takes a pitch upstairs, 1-0. Three more outs and this becomes an official game here at the stadium. It's been at least misting throughout. It was raining quite heavily at the beginning of the game, but they elected to start on time, and so far it's worked out. Now for the Yankees on the scoreboard, but getting the game in. Gets us out. Irving Falou takes over at second.
We saw Falou make his major league debut against the Yankees in Kansas City. A 9-year minor leaguer. First hit in the big leagues was a triple.
We hear anything why Getz left the game, we will certainly pass it along. The 2-2 to Jeter. And it's full. Derek's 1 for 2. Well, they had him played perfectly. Dyson right there for the out.
See Dyson have a little problem with that ball, and that's that ball that's a hit so square that it's almost like a knuckleball. There's no spin to it. Very tough on an outfield. That ball was hit right on the nose.
Boom.
At times with the ball has side spin, this or that, it's an easy play, and you just see that ball is kind of knuckling, and it's just, as an outfielder, it's almost trying to to hit a knuckleball at the plate. You don't really know where it's going to go. You just got to follow it all the way to the end. What amazes me, Kenny, is how easy those plays look in slow motion when we watch them in replays.
I will tell you this, and one thing I've learned over the years since being upstairs as opposed to on the field. One reason the game looks so easy because the players are that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they make mistakes, they really stand out.
You really get an appreciation of how fast, if you just go down on the field for batting practice when you've been away from a while, how quick the ball gets in the infield, how hard it gets to the outfielder. And
so a play like that in Yes-Mo looks easy.
Yeah.
But in real speed, it's uh-oh.
I think I could still play in Yes-Mo. Kenny and I still got a career in Yes-Mo.
Yeah, maybe me underwater.
As Granderson swings and misses for the second out.
Well, we told you that Paulino is a strikeout pitcher. This is his 6th strikeout in 4 2/3 innings.
See those pitches right there, and they're caught. I mean, that strikeout, it wasn't the break. I mean, that wasn't a really sharp breaking ball. It actually kind of hung, but you know, when you're looking for 96, 97, it's just a change of the speed. See Paulino now going right back to, you know, kind of speeding his rhythm up. Puts a lot of pressure on the hitters when you're struggling to score runs, and that pitcher's right on top of you again.
Ground ball to Falou, and that'll do it. So it's an official game, 5 innings in. As we go to the 6th, it's 3-0 Kansas City. Alex Gordon will lead off for the Royals. Which pitcher had the coolest moment over the last 3 days? You've been texting us at 42951. Here's how you voted. 44% think it was Kerry Wood. Then Strasburg with the home run. Verlander came within 2 outs of a no-hitter, and that only got 9%.
Scherzer struck out 15 all swinging.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it was cool because it was cooling off the park.
Alex Gordon takes a strike from Kuroda, still in there. 2-run home run off the foul pole by Moustakas in the first. RBI double by Hosmer in the third. And that's the only scoring, as Alex Gordon lines one down the left field line. Playing it out there is Ibanez, and Gordon with a leadoff double here in the sixth.
I think another reason why Kerry Woods was cool is because he could call his own shot and said, I'm leaving, instead of somebody showing you the door.
Yeah. You know what? If he gives up a home run to that guy, does he throw to another hitter? Does he get an out before he?
Yeah, you're not going to let him. Last guy you face in the big leagues, you give up a homer.
You watch your final thing, and you hear Michael saying "see ya" in your ears the rest of your life.
Yeah, that would have double meaning. As Larry Rothschild goes out and talks with Kuroda. Kuroda's pitched very well here at Yankee Stadium, but right now he's on the short end of a 3-0 score.
You know, Kenny and Mike, we've talked about it. There does become pressure on pitchers when the offense is not scoring runs. And, you know, has he thrown the ball great? No. Has he kept them in the game? Yes. And he's given them an opportunity, and they had the bases loaded where they could have had a big inning. And all of a sudden, I think as a pitcher, you start to, to grind a little bit more to not give up any runs. And sometimes it hurts you. It makes you make bad pitches.
You're thinking, I got to throw a shutout.
Hard way to pitch.
Here's Escobar. He is 1 for 2. Yankees expecting a bunt. And he squared up, but takes pitch outside.
And this is a position in the game where you're up 3 runs, and you can easily, as Ned Yost, give a young player a bunt sign and manufacture a run where Joe Girardi at times is handcuffed. I mean, you've got guys that are Hall of Fame caliber players that you don't give the bunt sign to.
Bunted foul, but Chavez and Morton couldn't get to it.
Next pitch will be number 100.
.59 strikes, 40 balls. And that one is bunted to Kuroda. He'll take the out at first. Sacrifice scored 1-4 as Gordon moves to third.
Not the ideal bunt right back to the pitcher, but on a night like this, you've got to get an out. I mean, obviously, you want to make the third baseman field that ball so the guy can coast into third.
I think also from a fielder standpoint, you don't want to get such a rush going after the ball that you all of a sudden you slip, you don't get anybody.
Now the Yankees have to bring the infield in for Irving Falou. Had his first base hit against the Yankees in Kansas City, a triple, first major league hit. Kenny mentioned 9 years in the minors.
And Michael, we did this game in Kansas City, David Cohn and myself, and I don't know who was happier, Falou or all the guys on the Kansas City team who had played with him in the minor leagues. He got some big hugs after the inning was over, and he was going back to position as his relatives were on hand. A-Rod standing at third, holds hands on the ball.
People root.
Yeah.
Players root for guys like this because when you're looking back at it, minor leagues are not fun, and they're not easy. I mean, there's a lot it's a grind trying to get to the place where he is right now.
9 years is a long time. I don't think I could have held out for 9 years.
You'd be pretty confident to just go back to the minor leagues for 9 years, huh?
Grounded to Teixeira. And he fires across the diamond, and he does not get Gordon. So Falou reaches on the fielder's choice. Teixeira could have stepped on first because Gordon wasn't coming home.
He kind of stopped. You see, Mark Teixeira got it so quick. I mean, he can actually run and get him back and still get back to first base. A long throw and a good slide. He gets back in there.
Yeah, throwing on the run, sometimes you don't get the velocity on the throw, not quick enough to get it over. There's Wally Bell with the emphatic call as Gordon dives back. Watch the right hand reach in underneath the tag, and Gordon does get back. I think if Teixeira had retreated to go touch the bag, Gordon wouldn't have gone anywhere. He's not going to go home.
Once you stop the runner, you know, it's very hard as a runner to get going back. I mean, all you have to do is commit him back to third, and then I don't think he can change directions. No. I agree with you, Ken.
Looks like Girardi is poised to come out there, just stalling right now.
There it is, throw to first.
And that's going to do it. So he's going to call on Cody Epley to face Quintero.
I mean, the disappointment, you know, he wants to do well. It just has not happened consistently.
So he gives the Yankees 5 1/3. They're trailing 3-0. Runners at first and third. They're his responsibility. It'll be Quintero against Epley when we get back. And, you know, Paul and Kenny mentioned this. Did he pitch great? Of course he didn't pitch great. But 3 runs, he's 2 outs away from a quality start, if you believe in that stat, but it is a stat in Major League Baseball. But when a team doesn't score, you've got to be perfect. You can't allow a run, and 3 runs right now looks pretty big the way the Yankee offense is simply not doing it.
Well, the reason why Joe Girardi went to Epley out of the bullpen, he throws sinkers, and he's got the catcher up, runners at first and third. So if he gets a ground ball, there's at one of the infield, it's more than likely the Yankees will turn a double play and get out of the inning.
Well, Girardi makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T.
When did the quality start change from 7 innings to 6 innings?
It was a stat that I think it was come up with by John Lowe, who's a longtime writer in Detroit, who came up with the quality stat start.
That if you give up 3 runs,
3 runs in 6 innings, which is a 4.50 ERA.
It's not good.
No. I thought it used to be 7. Yeah. Quality start was 7 innings, 3 runs.
Well, the official stat quality start is 6 innings, 3 runs. You as a player might have thought a guy gives me 7 innings, that's a quality start.
Right. I thought a real quality start was 9 innings.
Yeah, 9 innings shutout. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Of course, those days aren't coming back. Andy had 8 innings the other day. It was solid.
This is the stat. Quality start defined as a game which the starting pitcher completes at least 6 innings and allows 3 or fewer earned runs. And last year's leaders, Justin Verlander and Jared Weaver, had 28 quality starts.
And both of them have authored no-hitters in the last couple of years. And I think they were included in those quality starts.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Quintero against Epley. And that stat actually came into being in 1985. Epley deals 1-0.
You know, when you think about that, say you're a player and you come in and talk to your GM about a new contract. I said, I had so many quality starts, and GM says 4.50. Are you kidding me?
Right. What do you want to be, our 5th starter?
Grounded to Teixeira. He'll step on the bag to get 1, and he holds the runner at third. So Falou moves to second.
Mark did a good job of looking over at Gordon at third base. He kind of froze him. He lost chance to get the double play going to second. Let's watch him catch the ball. Maybe he realized that would have been a tough play. He looked at third, looked at second, take one out. The runner's not going to come home. See, he's looking across the diamond, see what Gordon's going to do. Now he looks to second. It's going to be a tough throw down to second. I'll step on the bag, get the second out. Everybody just, the only runner moves up is the one from first to second.
Well, that's going to do it for Epley. Dyson is coming up. So now the Yankees will call on a left-hander. Second and third, 2 men out. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Well, Clay Rapata comes on to face Dyson. Second and third, 2 outs. Yankees in at the corners, guarding against the bunt. The first pitch is outside. This is the 20th game for Rapata. 19 games, 12 innings, so he's there to get out lefties. Too many walks. 9 hits, 8 walks, 17 base runners in 12 innings. Going to be a tough play on the speedy Dyson, but Chavez makes it as both Epley and Rapata do the job. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cleanup hitter Alex Rodriguez will try to snap out of it when he leads off. Alex Rodriguez will lead off the bottom of the 6th. And Paulino with a breaking ball with no bite. 1-0. Alex blooped a single to right field in the 1st. Then the bases loaded, 1 out. In the 3rd, he struck out.
Kenny, I'll tell you, looking at Paulino, and if you were in an organization, you would have to be somewhat impressed, not because he throws 95, 96, and he throws 3 pitches.
Hot shot past the diving Moustakas, and that'll go into the corner, and it hugs the wall and rolls around. Alex Rodriguez will stop at second with a leadoff double.
Good start for the Yankees, but back to what I was talking about is the movement he can get on his fastball. He has a decent changeup, a good curveball. He hung the curveball here. Alex rips it right down the line. And you see the water coming up from the baseball there, and you see, as a left fielder, you got to sprint over there and try to cut that ball off. Got a bad angle.
He was trailing the ball into the corner.
Well, another thing, if that's dry and hard out there, that ball might be rolling out into left center field.
He'd be saying hello to the guys in the bullpen.
So there's a double. Alex is 2 for 3. And that is Alex's 500th career double.
Did they get the ball for him?
I think Alex stepped up and pointed up. So I think every ball's come out of this game as wet as they're getting.
Take your pick.
Yeah, anything you want. They're all soaked. And don't think that Alex Rodriguez is on second base thinking, you know, why didn't I do that with bases loaded? And those are the head games that you start playing with yourself as a player.
Driven to left field. Gordon makes the play. Tagging is Alex. He's going to third. Here's the play. Just got in there. Wow. Yankees trying to make something happen. And, boy, if he got caught at third, that would have been a really bad base running maneuver.
Well, first of all, you got Gordon out in left field, who's a Gold Glover, because he had 20 assists last year. And the throw was just enough offline, and watch him reach in with the left hand.
Tell you what, if Moustakas sweeps that tag, he's out. He stops his glove. Then it goes toward his body. But you said.
Watch the left hand reach in, and doesn't get the hand. He tags him up near the bicep.
You said Gordon throws everybody out at the plate.
Yeah,
he can't throw anybody out at third. See, all those assists, they were all at the plate.
Well, he had 20 of them, 10 at home plate.
That's amazing.
But he did make a strong throw. Maybe it was time to push down the low.
Well, you take your chance, obviously, with 1 out. Swisher fouls away, never with 2 outs or nobody out. Because now you could score on an out by getting in, by keeping that right hand back. That's what got him in there.
See Alex kind of helping the Wally Bell, call him safe, and as a runner,
you look up
to see, all you want to do, exactly. Just agree with me here one time.
Infield is back. The Yankees could score a run on a ground ball.
Not only does Paulino throw pretty hard, he's got movement on his fastball. When you think you have it squared up, the last foot or so when he gets to home plate, you go to swing, the ball actually moves away from you where you're sending your bat. Hard to square up.
If you're Nick Swisher, you really got to cut down here and realize that anything I can put in play on the ground is a run. There's only one thing I can't do, and that's swing through something.
Like that.
All the pitches away until the last one. And this one had some real giddy up on it. Targets in. It's close. It kind of rode the fringes of the strike zone, but with 2 strikes, I guess he couldn't get those hands in quick enough.
Really tied the hands up. Ball's going to end up probably in off the plate. Actually, over the plate, but it just up and in kind of ties him up. But again, in that situation where you just want to score a run, you try to make that thing happen early in the count. Ball's away, just put something in play.
Count 0-1 on Teixeira, who's 0 for 2. Paulino gets ahead of you quickly. That's what he did with Nick, and now he's done it with Teixeira.
You see those pitches. Paulino has kept those balls on the inner half or even off and has really tied some of the Yankee hitters up. And where Kuroda, the big blow in this game was a ball that was supposed to be in that leaked out over the plate, ended up going off the foul pole.
You know, I've seen this guy pitch twice now for the Royals, and I'm wondering how he got away from Colorado. They traded him for cash. Cash is hard to put out on that mound.
Yeah.
The 1-2. Tim Collins getting ready for the Royals. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. And again, the Yankees just cannot get it done. And there's not only rain raining down, but booze as well. We go to the 7th, 3-0 Royals. Well, it's time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 3-0 Royals. Moustakas a 2-run home run off the pole in right field in the first inning. Kuroda gave the Yankees 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs. And the Yankees are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, 6 for their last 67. Cadillac scoreboard has Kansas City leading 3-0. As Eric Hosmer takes a strike from Clay Rapata. Count 1-1.
You know, Kenny, I look at Clay Rapata, and if I was facing him, it would drive me crazy because this is not the way you learn to throw a baseball. Throw it up top so I can see it, and this would not bother you one bit if he threw the ball this way because you just go to the right side of the plate.
Chopper right back to the mound. And Hosmer is out 1-3.
Did you ever try switch hitting?
Yeah, I couldn't even do it, you know, in like wiffle ball in the backyard. It just didn't work.
Here's the motion you're talking about. This would drive you crazy. You're right. It wouldn't bother me from the other side.
Terrible.
And it's probably an advantage from the other side, right? Can he get a longer look?
Get a longer look.
That's one thing. I mean, you look at everything people do on a baseball field, and you know, you're really not blown away because you know, you've done some of that stuff before. But that one thing that I still look at is switch hitting. I don't understand it. There's no way that could, you know, I could have done. I don't care how much I worked on hitting right-handed, it wouldn't work. And some of the guys like Bernie and stuff that didn't start switch hitting till like the minor. Did you switch hit your whole life?
Kind of, in a way. In the playgrounds playing stickball, but I do certain things right-handed and I do certain things left-handed.
Oh, so there's a trick to it. So you're kind of messed up through life anyway, right?
Exactly. You know, I throw a baseball right-handed, shoot a basketball left-handed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm kind of messed up in that regard. Yeah, I throw a baseball right-handed, I eat left-handed. I write left-handed. Most of the things I do left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-1. Now, Chris Getz left the game earlier. I believe it was in the 5th inning, and he left with an aggravation of the left rib. So a contusion of the left rib. Maybe that was on the slide in second. And Butler works a walk on base for the 3rd time tonight. Here's Moustakas, and there's a strike.
We talked about the Yankees giving up first inning runs. There's an example tonight with Moustakas with a home run in the 1st inning, and you're in the hole already. I always felt is that the really good starting pitchers, I mean, your Hall of Fame type pitchers, they always made sure their team scored first more often than not. They did whatever they had to do to keep the other team off the scoreboard, give their team a chance to get a little comfortable on the scoreboard, then pitch accordingly to the scoreboard. Good breaking ball.
So Moustakas down on strikes.
If they had to hold the team to 1 run or make sure they didn't score, they can do it.
So Girardi's just mixing and matching out in that bullpen. He's going to call on, I believe, Freddie Garcia to face Jeff Francoeur. Yep, it's Freddie Garcia with a runner on first and 2 outs. We're in the 7th. Brought to you by Verizon Fios. Welcome to America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. Welcome to life on Fios. Luco Chavar, 3 and 4, 7.02. Against Phil Hughes for the Yankees, 3 and 5, 5.23. Our coverage at 6:30 on Yes with the pregame show. Then switch over to My 9 for the first pitch. Will, I guess, be about 7:07, 7:08. So Freddie Garcia is really going to have to assume this role and excel at it, because the Yankees need more arms and important innings in their bullpen with the injuries to Robertson and obviously Mo. And this will be Freddie's 5th game out of the bullpen. And he will deal to Francoeur. 1-0.
Speaking of Phil Hughes pitching tomorrow, he got a win in Kansas City. He picked up his 2nd win of the year against the Royals. And that's a game that kind of turned him around a bit.
Francoeur turns that one around deep to left field. It's in the bullpen, gone. A 2-run home run for Francoeur, and it is 5-0 Royals.
Kind of hard to believe that's only Francoeur's 2nd home run of the season. He really got into that one, drove it into the Kansas City bullpen.
Just kind of a hanger there, Kenny. Just something spinning right out over the plate. I was going to tell you, I mean, Jeff Francoeur went 4 for 4 yesterday, and then he had a couple bad at-bats. What a difference a day makes. But then when he got a hanging breaking ball, ended up in the bullpen.
Alex Gordon takes a strike. Grounded through the left side for a base hit for Alex Gordon, his 2nd hit of the night. Yankees have lost 5 out of 6 games. And if they don't come back here tonight, they become a 500 team at 21-21. Here's Escobar, 1 for 2 with a sac bunt. One and 0.
This what's happened when you're struggling offensively and you're just staying in the game. All of a sudden, it's kind of a matter of time for the other team, tacks on a few more, and it just, you just dig yourself holes.
1-1.
The thing about it, not only losing, what'd you say, 5 out of 6, Mike?
Yep.
It's the way they've been losing. You can go through a rough stretch, but at this point, it doesn't look like there's any turnaround. You understand? You haven't had that type of game that would show you, even if you lose it, that things might be starting to go in the right direction.
That one's popped up. Mark Teixeira makes a play, and that will do it. But 2 more tack-on runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch with the Yankees down 5-0, but we will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
5-0 on the Cadillac scoreboard. The rain coming down a little bit harder as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Yankee offense simply has not done the job, and we said they'd lost 5 of 6. In those 6 games, they've scored 15 runs, and now this is the 7th game of this stretch, and they don't have a run here tonight either. It's hard to win, and the only way you can win, the only game they won in that stretch, was when Andy Pettitte pitched 8 shutout innings, and that's asking a lot for a pitcher to do. It really is. And although Kuroda was not great tonight, you give up 3 runs with this Yankee offense, at least what's on the back of their baseball cards, that should be insurmountable.
Yeah, I don't care what team it is. You're going to go through times where guys struggle. You just hope, unlike a lot of other sports where 1 or 2 guys can really carry, and help a team win. A baseball team, you need certain 3 or 4 guys that, to score runs, and then this kind of stuff starts happening when you do hit it hard. So you just hope that you have 3 or 4 guys in the lineup at all the time that are swinging the bat good, and right now you don't.
Chavez is swinging the bat okay, but Moustakas takes a base hit away from him. So Chavez now 1 for 3. Here's Russell Martin. He's 1 for 2. Count 1-0.
Polino has jumped over the century mark in pitches. Starting to see some commotion in the Royals bullpen there.
Tim Collins was up earlier, so up again. Strike. Paulino saves the 97-mile-an-hour fastball for big spots. That one is redirected to left. That's going to be over the head of Gordon, and he'll play it off the wall. Martin's going for 2, and he is going to make it. So that's a good sign for the Yankees. Martin, who has been struggling, 1 for 16 coming in, is 2 for 3 tonight.
Ball up in the zone again, and Kenny, you said it. He got to his 100th pitch, and all of a sudden you're starting to see a few pitches start to get up in the zone. And I tell you what, Gordon, he's got a great arm. This ball right here, off target, off Escobar's glove, but still good arm strength from left field.
He won the Gold Glove last year. A lot of people thought that Brett Gardner should have won it. Gardner's an outstanding left fielder, but Gordon got it. And his 20 assists, I'm sure, didn't hurt. Here's Derek Jeter, as the Yankees will try to get in a runner from scoring position. And although this isn't positive stuff, you'll have to digest it. 0 for 8 tonight in these situations, and 0-90 in their last 67 at-bats.
Yeah, this is the 0 for 8 tonight you can deal with. It's the 67 at bats. That's, it's become something that people are getting used to. And as a team, you start reading numbers like that and you start believing it. We're not scoring runs, and before you know it, you're in those opportunities you don't want to be in. And as a hitter, you always want to get up there with men in scoring position. And you start becoming defensive. You want to get up there without those opportunities.
Kevin Long, Yankee hitting coach, was here early working with all of his hitters in the indoor cages, and feels that his team's hitting some balls right on the nose, but right at people. And not having that guy has not helped either. The old adage, you never know what you have until it's gone. I think the Yankees and their fans probably have a greater appreciation of what Brett Gardner means to this team's offense now that he's been missing time.
He diversifies the offense. There's various ways of scoring when he's in the game. He's able to take that extra base, score from first on a double.
Defensively, he does so much in left field.
And again, Dyson had Jeter play perfectly.
It was a frustrating night. Derek's got 1 hit early in the game, but he's hit the ball hard. He's had good at-bats 3 or 4 times tonight, and it's every single time. You see, he doesn't even have to move out there.
Well, with Granderson coming up, Ned Yost is going to go to the left-hander, and you see Jeter making that 0 for 9 for the team tonight with runners in scoring position.
You see Ned Yost out there, and good decision. Ball's starting to get up in the zone.
So he departs. It'll be Collins against Granderson when we get back.
Mason post-game. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry have a complete recap of tonight's matchup. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz gets the players' reactions and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's a W.B. Mason post-game. Only on Yes, Michael. Nowhere else.
Only here. You can see it's really starting to come down. And Paulino is now a spectator after 6 2/3, 6 hits, no runs. The runner at second, his responsibility through 109 pitches. As they bring in the left-hander Tim Collins. Collins, 20th game. Numbers are good. 30 strikeouts in 20 1/3 innings. And he'll face Granderson.
30 strikeouts leads all American League relievers in striking people out.
Talking about strikeouts. Did you hear the stat today about Aroldis Chapman? He has more strikeouts out of a bullpen pitcher than a couple starting starters.
Yeah.
Royals have some good young arms. I wouldn't say they're, accomplished pitchers yet, but they do have the foundation of throwing hard.
I mean, you're going to see some days, if you watch Kansas City day in and day out, you think, where is this organization going? Because you're going to make some mistakes. There's young kids out there, but you're also going to see days you think, wow, this team in a couple years, if they get the right pitching, could be something.
Check swing by Granderson. It's called the strike count, 2-1.
We saw Danny Duffy in Kansas City. And I think of his first 25 pitches, 17 of them were 95 miles an hour or better. And then next thing you know, he's having Tommy John surgery.
Exactly.
He's out.
Lefty, too. So there's a guy that, when healthy, you could build a staff around. 97, you don't see too many lefties.
You're going to have to wait a while. He threw a couple 99ers in that game.
The 2-1. Count 3-1. Collins generates a lot of power from a 5'7" frame.
You got to figure with that many strikeouts as a lefty coming out of the bullpen, at some point he's going to have a sharp breaking ball.
And the 3-1. 3-2.
From the reaction, I think that got the home plate umpire.
Mike Winters in. See Quintero walk the next ball out to the pitcher to give the home plate umpire a little time here. Ooh, hit him in the hand?
Or on top of the kneecap there. And sometimes even with those protectors on. You know, if you're the hitter and you just drilled one back and hit the umpire, you don't even want to make eye contact with it. You know, it's not like I didn't mean to do that. Please.
3-2 with 2 outs, runner at second. Collins deals. And a check swing. They check with the third base umpire. Wally Bell said he did not go. So Granderson works a walk and passes the baton to Robinson Cano.
Remember years ago fouling a ball off. Lee Wire was the umpire, broke his wrist and fouled it off. Stayed in the game though. Did that bother you, Paul?
Well, you know, every once in a while they get bad breaks, you know.
No sympathy for the umpires.
Fouled away.
Kenny, you remember when you were hitting, and everybody was saying, you know, it's tough to hit in the rain. You never noticed it really looking out there. The only thing that would bother you is raindrops would accumulate on the bill of your cap. And Robbie just wiped them, and they would drip right in front of your vision, you know, of where you're trying to pick up the ball. As far as picking up the ball, no problem, but it used to drive you crazy when you got raindrops coming off your bill of your cap.
That one is tapped out to third, and a tough play for Moustakas, who steps on the bag. And the futility with runners in scoring position continues. No run to hit and 2 men left. We go to the 8th inning. Paulino's night is over, but yours isn't. Player of the game. Text your vote to 42951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are, they're all Royals: Felipe Paulino, Mike Moustakas, Jeff Francoeur, or Billy Butler. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Freddie Garcia is still on the mound, and he deals to Irving Falou. Pitch inside 1-0. Hyundai scoreboard 5-0. Kansas City leads New York. Count 1-1. We're in the 8th inning. They've been able to play this one through the rain. Pitch outside, 2-1. That one is driven deep to right field. And it is over the head of Swisher and up against the wall as Falou motors into second with a leadoff double. And that gives him an 8-game hitting streak.
You begin to wonder how this guy spent 9 years in the minor leagues. As he hits one over the head of Nick Swisher in right field, and he's got good speed. You can see that. He's going into second.
Here's Quintero. Count 1-0. Quintero's 0 for 3 tonight. High fly ball. Granderson puts it away. Quintero just holding a spot for Salvador Perez, who the Royals think is going to be an outstanding catcher, but he had knee surgery early in spring training, and he's ahead of schedule. He's going to go to Arizona and start playing some extended spring training games, and they hope to have him back maybe by middle of June, something like that, and that's really a quick recovery.
He made a heck of an impression last year.
And they signed him to a long-term deal, Kenny.
Yeah, they did.
You know, they're trying to turn this organization around back in there. I was just looking, and 1985 was the last time that they were in the playoffs and won the World Series then.
It'll be a tough play, and Garcia beats Dyson to the bag. As Falou moves to third.
I mean, they have several players on this team can run. Of course, Dyson at the top. We saw Falou with the double at close play at first. Chris Getz can run. Gordon has pretty good speed.
Hey, Michael.
And it's a tie. This will be a better judge on Yesmo. Oh,
yep,
no, they got it right.
He's out.
Yesmo tells all.
That looked like the finish of the Preakness the other day.
What a race.
Yeah, that was a great race.
And now there will be an attempt at the Triple Crown. I'll have another.
How many times have you said that and it had a different meaning?
The 1-0. 1-1. The last Triple Crown winners in the American League, Yastrzemski, and the National League, Medwick, and in the Equine League, Affirmed.
That's Ducky, right? Ducky Medwick?
Ducky Medwick.
In 1937. How many runs did Affirmed drive in that year?
Since Affirmed won the Triple Crown, there have been 11 horses that went into the Belmont with a chance to win, and all 11 obviously lost. And in baseball, there's chance at Triple Crown. Josh Hamilton's having an unbelievable year. And that one gets past Martin. Here comes Falou. He'll score, and it's 6-0 KC. And they scored a wild pitch.
Yeah, wild pitch. Remember the game in Baltimore early this year, Michael? If Freddie Garcia had 5 wild pitches in one game. And it's kind of reminiscent of that night at Camden Yards. And I think on 2 of them, runners scored. Falou has a good speed, so there's really no chance to get him here, as he's going to score easily coming in from third.
See, he just tugged that split finger, threw it completely across the plate. Russell Martin couldn't go there quick enough.
Count 3-2.
You know, the year before Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown, Frank Robinson won it in the American League. So they had 2 years in a row where players won the Triple Crown.
Eric Hosmer walks. That's a sign of a bad trade too, Kenny, because that was the year that Robinson was traded from the Reds to the Orioles, and the Reds traded him because they thought he was too old.
Yeah, Milt Pappas, they said he was an old 30.
Yep.
And he was really on his way to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if the Reds, well, he won Rookie of the Year. They knew he was a good player. With Cincinnati.
Reds have historically helped American League East teams trading outfielders they think are done.
That's right. You told them they stink, and they just sent them on.
They traded you, and you ended up winning a batting title and 4 more World Series. You showed them. Count 2-0.
Come home every winter. What's that? You got a new ring this year?
What do you think of them this weekend?
They've got some impressive arms.
Yeah, they got some good pitchers.
I know one thing. I turned it on. I was at home, and it was bright, sunny, beautiful. And then we flew in, and I'm like, why'd they bring the golf clubs on this trip? It's like monsoon season. Isn't that beautiful?
That's not golfing weather.
No.
Got a little golf umbrella there.
Freeze the crowd in that picture.
You know, Danny Cunningham needs a little rainfall on his field every once in a while just to keep the grass green.
Base hit. Hosmer will stop at second.
You know, it's not just that Freddie has given up gave up a home run and some hits, and wow, it's the swings that you see consistently often from the other team that. He's not fooling people with his split finger, and he's not getting to the point where he can get a strikeout with it.
It's Butler's 3rd hit tonight.
And it doesn't make sense at this point. Not that you're bagging the game, but you can't use all of your bullpen. So Garcia is out there to absorb some innings. They do want him to pitch more important innings, but pitching like this, he's not going to be pitching in close games. Here's Moustakas. Count 1-0. Hammered foul.
Moustakas with that home run in the first innings, now hitting 11 of his last 12 games. There's a satisfied customer.
We need to keep that shot. We haven't seen too many smiles in the stands tonight.
Paid crowd of 39,229, but the weather obviously kept a lot away, and Hardy Souls still here in the ballpark. Got to give them credit. And all of our great camera people doing an unbelievable job standing out there in the rain. Popped up. Jeter will make the play, and that will do it. But the Royals score another run on 2 hits. 2 men left. Can the Yankees get on the board? Alex Rodriguez is going to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Night, don't miss an all-new edition of Forbes Sports Money for a sports facilities discussion with Flyers owner Ed Snyder, plus an examination of the state of new stadium financing around the country. It's a new Forbes Sports Money, Wednesday at 11. It's only on Yes. Tim Collins against Alex Rodriguez. Count 1-0. Hyundai scoreboard 6-0 Kansas City. Count 1-1. The 1-1. Now that is enterprising. They didn't just get one poncho, they got a big slab of plastic.
Right over the construction site on the dig and on the way in.
Grounded to third. Oh, nice play by Moustakis. The long throw to get A-Rod. All right, guys, so let me ask you both this.
Tell me.
They're obviously struggling. They're obviously struggling to get hits in situations where you can score runs. The back of their baseball cards would tell you that this can't go on all year. How do you snap out of it? Is there something you could do? They shake up the lineup a bit today, dropping to share to 7th, but is that enough? Do you have to do something drastic?
I don't know if you have to do something. What do you mean by drastic? Like pull the names out of a hat?
Something like what Billy Martin did, or bench somebody. I mean, is that something that works, or you just have to be patient and wait?
You know, you're going to run into a game where the other pitcher doesn't have it, and then that's the day you got to turn it on and get your confidence back. It doesn't have to be big home run games or anything. It could be a broken bat single with the bases loaded that kind of turns things around. A walk with the bases loaded, something that's a positive thought to your offense. It's just not happening. Paulino pitched a good game against him at Kansas City. He pitched another good one tonight. He's a tough pitcher. Just by watching him work, he's got good stuff, and he's making it work lately. Since coming from the disabled list, he's shut down just about everybody, not only the Yankees. So when you run into somebody tough, I mean, Johnny Cueto is a good pitcher. You're not going to jump all over him.
I think one of the qualities of a veteran team is you don't panic, but you also cannot sit and just wait for things to happen. I think that you have to, as a player going up there, you have to make your at-bats count a little bit more. You have to concentrate a little bit more, and you have to kind of take it upon yourself a little bit more and not wait for somebody else on the team. You just got to change everything that, I mean, the Yankees are a good team. There's no doubt about it. So, but to sit back and just wait for it to happen, you can get in a real rut.
Ibanez swings and misses for the second out.
You know, there's another thing that happens sometimes when you're going poorly as a team. You don't actually win a game, the other team loses the game. They make enough mistakes that they hand it to you. Well, the Yankees haven't even run into that lately. The other teams have been playing some pretty good baseball.
And the lack of hitting also puts a lot of pressure on your starting pitcher. Tomorrow's going to be Phil Hughes. He knows he can't give up that many runs the way this team is swinging the bat. Here's Nick Swisher. Yankees have had their opportunities tonight. They had the bases loaded, nobody out in the third inning. Cano struck out looking. A-Rod struck out swinging. And then Ibanez was trying to clear the bases with a deep drive to left, but it was run down by Alex Gordon.
You know, one positive, though, when Hughes pitched in Kansas City, he did face Luke Hochevar, who's pitching tomorrow, and the Yankees kind of jumped on him. So there's a guy that we actually hit well.
Count 1-1.
I mean, he lasted just 2 1/3 against the Yankees in Kansas City. Not to say he's not capable of pitching a good game, but there's some positive thoughts when you step on the field tomorrow when you see him on the mound. Didn't we score 7 runs off him? Yeah, they did.
Well, that could be the tonic.
Yeah, you get to somebody that you feel, you don't feel like he's Cy Young out there.
And tonight starts a stretch of, I believe, 12 games where the Yankees will play a team that's either under 500 or 500 as of tonight. But then that team could say the same thing because the Yankees now will be 500 if they don't come back. So the first mini shakeup by Joe was to drop Teixeira down to the 7th spot, but Mark is 0 for 3 tonight. It's just that it's such a veteran-laden team. There aren't that many moves you could make or sit people down or call people up. And Nick Swisher with a weak hack. He is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts today. Really, really struggling. He's actually 3 for his last 27. We'll go to the 9th inning. Yankees down by 6. Jeff Francoeur leads off. Francoeur greeted Freddie Garcia with a 2-run home run in the 7th. That's his only hit. Broken back, ground ball to Jeter. In the dirt, and a beautiful scoop on the backhand by Teixeira, and he saved Jeter an error.
It's one of those balls you see Derek holding them. That ball gets to you. It's just complete wet. I mean, you can't grab the lace, you can't grab the leather, and it just squirts out of your hand. You see the sink on that ball is almost like a spitball. It just on both ends. Neither of them like this play.
Way to go, Tanks.
There's Alex Gordon. Pitch outside.
Gordon coming off a 3-for-22 homestand. He's got himself a couple of hits and a walk tonight. Change of scenery. Last year he was the Royals Player of the Year.
Popped up. Chavez in foul territory. Will make the play for the second out and retire Gordon.
It's like an easy field for Chavez. He played in Oakland so many years, and you know how much territory there is from third base to the stands. I mean, there's 30, 40 yards. Right here is very, very little area to cover.
You got area up here that's still available for a foul ball.
And as a hitter, you hated it because half those foul balls, you're getting ready for the next pitch, and you see the guy over there catching it by the stands.
Escobar singles to left center field. He makes a big turn as Granderson gets the ball in. So a 2-out single. Escobar picks up his second hit in 4 at bats.
We talked about Escobar earlier in the game. Just a kid that knows how to play the game. A lot of this youth in him, and he's a good player. He's the one player that Kansas City wanted when they traded Zach Greinke.
Here's Irving Falou. Doubled his last time up and scored the Royals' 6th run. There's a strike.
Spent the last 3 years at AAA Omaha.
Been there, played there.
You played Omaha?
Yeah, I played against him.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you go through the minor leagues, there's some leagues that you just play the same team. Well, it seems like the Royals were in every league I ever played in, including spring training and instructional ball. So, I got so sick and tired of seeing the Royals. And then you get up to the major leagues. I was in the National League. You never see them.
The 2-1. 2-2.
Michael, how you doing? I went by your old stomping grounds today on the way to the ballpark.
What's that?
Fordham.
Really?
Yeah, I've been through it. Been by it twice. One day, beautiful sunny day, and today looked a little different. Pouring down rain.
You just drove past it, or you visited?
No, I drove past it. Kind of waved at you on the way.
The 2-2.
Did you see a statue?
No, it's grand.
If you see my statue, it's 6 more weeks of summer.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll be waiting because it's not here tonight.
Our producer, Bill Bolin, just said in my ear, he goes, "You really have a statue at Fordham?" No, I don't.
Yeah.
The 2-2. Grounded to first. Teixeira is there, and that'll do it. Now Mark is going to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning as the Yankees will try to rally. They are down 6-0. They have 6 hits, but a big 0 on the run scoring board. At 6:30, turn to Yes before the Yankees and the Royals take the field for a full preview with the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then after the game on My 9, come back to Yes for Yankees extra innings. And Wednesday, we've got full game coverage starting at 6 right here on Yes. Phil Hughes will pitch for the Yankees tomorrow against Luke Hochevar.
Just got to switch the channels a few times tomorrow, and you get everything.
Got everything. Start with Yes, go to My 9, then go back to Yes. So here's Mark Teixeira batting in the 7th spot in the lineup for the first time since 2003 when he was a rookie. So far he's 0-for-3 with 2 strikeouts. Collins still in there. Came in to get the final out of the 7th inning. Count 1-1. Andrew Jones on deck. He will pinch hit for Chavez.
It's a 54-foot curveball right there.
Vladimir Guerrero would have hit it.
He's got re-signed, didn't he?
He's in the Blue Jays organization, working his way up to the big leagues.
The 2-1. Pulled the string on that one. The count 2-2. Fouled away.
Every time I see a pitcher out there with a beard, I automatically think of Brian Wilson, the closer for the Giants, who's out for the year.
That's called.
He's got a full beard. Yeah, my goodness. I think he should be leaving the ballpark in a lumberjack shirt.
Reminds you a little of Al Bosky.
Remember his act, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he could get the opposition as mad at him as any pitcher in the league. Just from his antics on the mound.
Mad Hungarian is what they called him?
That's what he called himself.
Hot shot past the diving Moustakas and down the left field line. Gordon plays it, and Teixeira gets a much-needed double.
Let's see what the pitch is. Down and in, and he just drops the lumber on it. Moustakas, who's made all the plays tonight, can't make this one.
The ball just hit so hard and it skips off the grass just a little bit quicker. A lot of action in that left field corner tonight, huh?
Gordon's got to know those fans in the front row.
So Andrew Jones gets announced as the pinch hitter for the lefty swinging Chavez, and Ned Yost is going to go to his bullpen and bring in a right-hander. And it's going to be Aaron Crow. So Crow against Jones. We'll have that matchup in a moment. Runner at second. Nobody out. Bottom of the ninth. Aaron Crow will come on to face Andrew Jones. Yankees are down 6-0. Mark Teixeira doubled. That was the last pitch thrown by Tim Collins, who did a nice job while he was in there. So they bring in Crow. These are the numbers on Crow. This will be his 21st game. A lot of base runners, 23 base runners in 19 and a third innings. But opponents hitting 191 against him. So too many walks. That's the one negative.
Yeah, but he's hard to hit.
Yeah.
Another example of what I was talking about before. Another strong arm out of Kansas City Bullpen. Not really have turned into pitchers as of yet. They're still developing. But he's got a good, strong arm.
Six 0. Royals lead. Runner at second. The pitch. It's a strike. 0-1. And a strike.
Good movement on that fastball.
And Andrew Jones, 4 home runs in a career as a pinch hitter. What's a lot for a pinch hitter?
I'm not sure who has the record. Lenny Harris is the record for pinch hits.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about pinch hit home runs.
I gotta imagine it's, I don't know, 10 or less pinch hit homers.
That even seems like a lot.
Yeah.
The 1-2 outside 2-2.
You figure the guys that are hitting a lot of home runs aren't pinch hitting a lot of times, right?
They should be playing.
Yeah.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So Jones doesn't like that call.
Oh my, Gates Brown is the answer to that question, Mike.
16. Wow.
16 pinch hit home runs.
With the Tigers back in the 60s, and he came off the bench for the Tigers back in with Mickey Lolich and K-Line and those guys. Secret weapon.
Count 1-0 to Russell Martin. He swung the bat well tonight, 2 for 3. Single and a double.
Gates Brown had 16, but here's the winner.
Matt Stairs with 23.
That's amazing. 23 pinch hit home runs. And the difference, Gates Brown did it all with one team. Matt Stairs played with a lot of different teams, but still 23 home runs off the bench. It's amazing to me.
Count 1 and 2.
8 teams Matt Stairs was with.
Can you name them?
Name a couple of them. I don't think I'd get all 8.
I know he played for Montreal.
Phillies.
Oakland.
I'm out.
Toronto.
I think he played for Toronto.
Yeah. Toronto.
Yep.
Did we say the Phillies?
Yes.
Yeah, we said the Phillies.
Good conversation with Crow.
Did we say Detroit?
No, we did not.
Yeah, he played for them.
Oakland, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, KC, Detroit, Toronto, Philly, and San Diego. But Octavio Dotel just set the record for 13 teams. Means somebody always wants it. 3-2. Martin is out, and the Yankees are down to their final out. And this just adds to that total that we're talking about. Right now, you can't really stress on it because not that the game's out of reach, but it doesn't look good. Runner at second base, 2 more offers. And the Yankees just can't get in runners when they're in scoring position. So here's Jeter. He'll try to end that streak. They are 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position at this point. There's a strike. Could not hold up in the count 0-2. Now the Yankees are down to their final strike.
A good slider from Crow. Crow has held hitters to 9 for their last 60 at-bats against them.
The 0-2. And that one's lined right at Falou, and that'll do it. As a tough night in the Bronx is over, and the Yankees 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position get shut out by the Royals 6-0. In the ninth, no runs a hit, 1 man left. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. Jeff Francoeur with a home run. Lousy night weather-wise, and not too much better on the field for the Yankees as they've lost their 5th out of 6 games.